basically, how are you feeling right now? And how do you want to feel? The difference between those two statements in your voice provides a lot of information that we can use to create biofeedback. The power of music, right? Music is this universal healing tool or connecting tool throughout all cultures, throughout all time. And
Has that really happened?
Wow.
many,
People do a
many
90-minute session and then they skip town?
yeah, we see everything. It's, everybody's healing journey is totally unique.
Hello and welcome to Gym World Worldwide. I am your host, John Franklin. Joined with me, as always, my friend, the captain, Mateo Lopez, looking rested and refreshed, which is good because we're going to be talking about wellness today. We're going to be talking about technology and wellness, two things that we love to talk about and learn about. We had heard rumblings of this concept from other big players in the fitness space. One in particular said it changed his life and that it was this revolutionary thing. So without further ado and hype, I will bring to the stage Tarun Raj, who is the co-founder and president of Reality Center. Welcome, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are excited. Tell us what this is, because assume you're just got your average, a gym owner who knows about cold plunges, saunas, but has no experience with some of the stuff you're doing. Like, give us a deep dive into what this is that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Reality Center is more of like fitness for your brain, right? So we all know that cold plunges, saunas, contrast therapy, your normal physical activity is really powerful, not just for your body, but also for your mind, because you get into that flow state. You have all those endorphins and hormones released, and it's a powerful tool for resilience and all of these other things that you guys probably know much better than I do. So what Reality Center does is it's really a recovery tool for those physical activities that we do on a day-to-day basis, but also the mental activities, right? Sometimes our senses, they get a little bit out of alignment as through the stress, through the various environmental factors, and we have a hard time slowing down, right? We have a hard time calming our minds, meditating with the short attention spans of today's distractions becomes very difficult. So if we use the same senses that you use to experience all of these stressors and distractions, and we align them using light, sound, vibration, using these different sensory stimulus, then your body enters this harmonic state. We call it sensory resonance. So sort of like a tuning fork or an instrument, right? When it's out of tune, it doesn't sound right. We're the same thing. So we call it tuning the human instrument. And at Reality Center, we have these vibration beds, and they synchronize with light and sound. You close your eyes, and it takes you on this journey. And so it's healing from a physical standpoint, fascia with this full body massage, moving, helping with blood flow. The sound, the different frequencies we use, they're used to bring the brain into a harmonic state. And those lights, you close your eyes, and they do the same. They sort of amplify and allow you to enter more of a dreamlike state where we like to see that your body's natural healing mechanisms are taking over.
So what happens in a session? Is it guided by some person? Is it a computer that does it all? So you lay down on the bed, you look at the lights, you have the headphones. What's going on?
Yeah, so basically, when you come in, the main thing that we sell is safety, right? Somebody looks at our site and they're like, okay, reset your nervous system, heal from trauma, do any of these number of things. So we come in, and one of our reality managers, we treat you more like a peer, right? We're all on this journey together, more like trainers for your nervous system. And so you come in, we guide you in through breath work, visualization, which are really like the most important tools that we have as humans to be able to guide ourselves, right? And to adjust our own nervous systems. And then we understand that there's an intention that's important when somebody's coming to us with healing goals, right? Just like you would say, like, I want to bulk up, or I want to, cut or trim down. People have these same goals mostly for purpose or stress or pain. It could be any number of things. We work a lot with firefighters, first responders, uh, combat veterans, special forces, all the way down to your soccer moms and the general public. So we identify what that is, because whatever you put into this, you're going to get out of it. So your intention is where's your mind's going to go. So we want to guide you into a state of where you feel like you can control the experience. Even though you're getting hit with this stimulus, you actually are in control, because you can stop like at any time, unlike psychedelics, which people compare us to. You won't have 10 more hours of a trip. So people feel like they're in control. They have an ability to talk to us. And after that initial period of guidance, then we drop you in. 30 minutes or more are the sessions we like to do. And then we pull you out with the same sort of practice and do an integration afterwards that just allows people to feel supported and also unpack whatever may have come up. So that's really the course of a session, and we have that in a pretty seamless turnkey way that we've developed over the last 3+ years here at Reality Center.
So it's like, I guess you come in a guided meditation of sorts, then you lay on the table, you do the stimulus, then you have a debrief, a cool down, and that's the basic structure of the session.
Exactly.
So did you invent the technology? Like, how did you figure this out? Did you find whoever did this and partner with them? What is, like, I can't go on Amazon and pick one of these up. So, how did you figure this
No.
out?
My own healing journey is really my motivation. I have had really bad joint issues, genetic, things popping out, hypermobility. And so I've always dealt with chronic pain. And I've also, had the stresses of childhood, very, strong emotional stressors that followed me throughout my life. I turned to Eastern healing techniques like Reiki, Qigong, things of that nature that sort of like awaken what's already inside of you, right? Sort of amplify that electric current that is the subtle energy. Now science on the Western side is starting to really understand and accept. And in that vein, we had also been playing a lot with like sound healing. We've been playing a lot with the power of music, right? Music is this universal healing tool or connecting tool throughout all cultures, throughout all time, right? Sound. Long story short, we used to be in entertainment. I'm a director, editor by trade. Spent a lot of time working with impact brands that were doing healing stuff. And my co-founder is a combat veteran. And so we've been working a lot with these nonprofits that do different healing modalities, sticking our finger in the proverbial light socket. And so then we met this gentleman that had really created a lot of this technology back in the first psychedelic revolution. So early 70s, 80s, as an alternative to be able to get to that altered state that psychedelics was taking you to. And it found by actually bringing all your senses into connection that your mind and body would separate, and you'd be able to get into this deep meditative profound state where neuroplasticity occurs, where the physical healing occurs, because you feel a sense of safety, right? And so that's something that I hadn't felt very much, because I was always very tense growing up as a kid. My mind was always racing. I just didn't have ability to let go, so traditional meditation was hard. I lie down on this device, I get blasted off into infinity, and I'm like, what is going on here? And that was about 10 years ago. So we've helped since then evolved the technology into something a little bit more consumer friendly. The narrative that takes it out of places like, the elite biohacking or woo woo, like new age hippie type of mindset, and into a place that's accessible. So it helped me and the people around me so much that we felt that, especially like right towards the end of the pandemic, um, lockdowns and everything like that, we're like, okay, what do we do next? Because our production company was dead because all of that was shut down. So like, hey, let's explore how this could help our community heal. And it sort of, it's expanded from there. And here we are 3 years later.
So you found kind of the godfather of this. You partnered with him and brought it into your space. Because I know you have here reality management technologies, which is, sounds like the goal is to serve a broader market. Is this something where we're going to be able, as gym owners, to buy one of these things and offer this, or is this?
Yeah, absolutely. You can now. The main thing that we discovered is that you have to have trainers. You have to have a protocol. You have to have a reason for retention and for people to come back. So there's a lot of people have been operating in silos. We're like, what if we made a standard, right? So we work with LA County, work with the VA, we work with a lot of these organizations that need standards. They need a universal protocol. They need to be able to share information across different sources and treatments and departments. So we realized that we had to build something like that in order to get this adopted at scale and to be able to start, looking at multiple locations. So while you can buy this hardware or variations of it right now, what we're really focused on is unifying that and making it really useful to the end customer, allowing them to go home with some information and some practices that actually, just like any wearable or biometric, we actually use the voice to be able to let you tell us what's going on, detect biometrics in your voice as it changes and you talk about different things, and then use that as fuel for your session. So we're building a whole sort of protocol and ecosystem around this. That way it makes it easier and turnkey for you as gym owners to be able to just put one of these down, have it connected to this whole network of information and education as well as treatment. And that way it can be a little bit more hands-off and you don't have to learn, sensory science like I did, although it's very interesting and profound. But, it makes it easier as a business owner to work with this stuff, just like you would, turn on a Nova Thor or a, Sauna.
John was sharing some images before, but for people who are just listening, can you actually describe the hardware? So you've got this massage table. There's a couple different versions, it sounds like, and then there's headphones. What are they listening to within the headphones? And then there's this light. There's this strobe light looking thing, but I'm assuming it's not strobe lights. Maybe describe what's actually going on with the hardware.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing you do is you lie down on this vibration bed. It's called a vibroacoustic, and it uses those vibrations to basically create waves. There's one like you described, which is like a massage table, so it's like a memory foam, more visceral, moves things physically through your body. And then there's another one called the wave table, which moves things through the water. And because we're so much 70+% water, our brains are over 80% water, that water in the bed resonates with the water in your body. So it creates this very immersive experience where you can lose that body and separate from these physical ailments or thoughts a little bit better. So that is then synchronized with music. So you're hearing, you're feeling the same thing. We also use scientifically proven neuroscience-based frequencies that help balance your brain hemispheres and just bring you into that balanced state, that coherence. Lastly, the lights, which actually, Mateo, you are correct, they are strobe lights. They're just operating at the frequency, which is how many times per second, of your brain. And so when your brain's going fast, when your breath is moving fast, and your heart is going fast, you're highly activated, right? Sometimes when your body is still and your brain's going fast, then you're anxious. So our goal is to take all those senses and these different mechanisms and just slow them down, right? Because what happens when everything's slowed down, your brain, your heart, your breath are still, you're sleeping or you're deeply relaxed. So we take people from their state and we bring them down into this low theta state. And theta is the brainwave state where different psychedelics, powerful meditations take you. That's the dream state, right? That's where you can sort of imagine things. You can imagine yourself in a different way, repattern things with neuroplasticity. And so the combination of the light, sound, and vibration all together creates this harmony in your nervous system, in your mind, body, soul, that allows that individual to take themselves on this journey to self-awareness. And that's why we say at Reality Center, you are the medicine.
So talk to us about the nuts and bolts, because this is a show for gym owners and fitness professionals. They're going to want to know, how many square feet, how many rooms are there? Like,
how many tables?
Yeah.
How much does a table cost? All this stuff.
Yeah. We have a few different setups. One is a group system. So we have 4 of these massage table systems in the main area, main room. That's where we do a lot of our first responders and groups of veterans. We have a grant from LA County and a few other organizations in which we treat, thousands of people, right? Then we have a duo system, because when somebody's going through an experience like this, sometimes they want to have their partner there or a good friend there. So there's 2 side by side. And then we have our 2 individual treatment rooms with the wave tables. And so that's for a more one-on-one immersive experience. And so that gives us a total of 8 systems. We have about 2,500 square feet. And then finally, we have a room that is for our voice analysis, which I mentioned. We use the frequencies of your voice to sort of determine the unique number, right? Your biometrics while you're talking about something that you want to create in your life, something that you love. That has a different vibration than when you talk about something that you don't like, something that stresses you out. A lot of modern therapy does that, right? We talk about our problems a lot. And that actually just amplifies them. So we talk about what you love, what you're passionate about, and we amplify that. So from a logistical standpoint, we can operate all of these rooms basically with 1 person or 2 people, depending on the capacity and the throughput. So it allows us to operate very, very light, which has allowed us to stick around while a lot of other wellness centers and different brands with a lot more money and resources have not been able to in that area because of the economics of being in Santa Monica, especially in downtown. So that has really made us consider, how do we make this as automated as possible with the way that we have built the software, with the way that we train people. And that way the operator can be the operator, and then people can guide themselves through as much as possible with that feeling of safety and with our reality managers, as we call them.
So it's 4 separate spaces and 8 you could serve essentially 8 people at one given time, right?
Right. Yep. And we do about basically 30 minutes to 90-minute sessions. And so that allows us to get a pretty good turnover with these experiences. People will come in for like a 30-minute sampler to see what it's like, or after they've done the longer sessions, they just want to get a quick boost, right? So you can come in on your break, you can do this, and then you can go about your day.
And so is it staffed based off of appointment only, or do you always have someone there in case, someone wants to walk in and do this? How does that work?
Yeah, right now it's a appointment only. So, we're open to the general public, but you come in there, we have the staff available. We sort of stack our sessions as much as possible. And that just allows us to give the right amount of time. We're bringing on more full-time staff to just be there on a more consistent basis. But it's something that I can operate the entire facility by myself. And as we make more and more improvements, that just becomes easier. And so, necessity is the mother of invention. We wanted to make it easier on ourselves, and the potential of making it easy on people who looking to scale with us.
So you could run all the sessions by yourself, be bopping around from room to room to
Yeah,
room.
yeah. If we properly stagger it, as long as we have somebody to help with the integration, we feel comfortable with that. But as operationally, yes, that's something that is definitely doable.
Hey, gym owners, are you looking for a way to generate more leads, close more sales, and increase client retention? Introducing Kilo. We are a software company that gives gym owners the tools they need to increase revenue and run a successful gym. With Kilo, you get a beautifully designed website to capture more leads, an integrated marketing automation platform to increase sales, and our gym management software so you can add new client memberships, process payments, and organize your class schedule. If you're ready to upgrade your gym management software, book a call at usekilo.com. Well, so what is the role of I don't remember, my reality manager during a session? It sounds like you do a little guided meditation in the beginning, and then you just press a button and then it goes for the hardware part, or is that part guided as well? How does that work?
Yeah, so it depends on if you're getting a pre-canned experience or a custom experience, right? So you can press a button, and as long as that person is comfortable the first time during the first 10 minutes, which is really where you evaluate their breathing, their movement, make sure that they're doing okay, and then they can handle what we're throwing at them. And once that has been established, then we can leave the room, allow them to go through that experience. We periodically make sure that they're okay by checking on them on a consistent basis. But once you've done it one time, then you know what to expect, right? And so we don't have to hold your hand as much after that first time. So that makes it a lot easier on us as operators. And then we can, sort of continue giving attention to the people who need it, who may be new customers coming through. As far as the nature of what we do, if you are getting a neuro DJ experience, which is what we call it, then we are actually creating the playlist, mixing it for you in real time, right? So everybody gets a unique session. There's no repeats. Or we have the ability to just say, okay, you're on session 1. Okay, cool. This time we're doing session 2, session 3. And so we have sort of these turnkey approach, and then we have a little bit more of a custom approach.
And I think if we pull up the experiences here, it'll be a little more clear if you're watching at home. So then it looks like this top end stuff, the wavetable plus the vocal analysis. This is the most immersive, kind of probably people intensive one. Then you got the wavetable here. And then these are what we saw on those reels, right? These are the tables with the lights, the
Right.
vibra sounds. 30 and 60, and then these are the group rooms you were talking about. So we got the couples, and then you said you got your 4-person.
That's right. Yep. So we priced this at around what a massage would cost in our neck of the woods. That's been our strategy, to just get people to try something new, and instead of it being this exorbitant new investment that a lot of these things are for people, we're just like, look, what if you could change your life with the cost of a massage? Give it a try. And it works.
How many people do you service? Like, are you at capacity? Are you still taking on people? And then I guess the next piece is, how often do people come? Is it something where their life's changed, they don't have to come anymore? Or do they come all the time for tune-ups? What's the client journey, I guess?
Yeah, client journey, it varies, right? Like I have people, we got a big article in LA Times, right? And so we had a lot of people come in who are trying to change their lives, and they're interested in psychedelics, but not ready for that yet. So there are folks who are in their 50s, 60s plus that, hey, we're just looking for some change. Oftentimes when people feel that change, they want to keep coming back, right? So we get consistency of, once a month type of use at the price point that we're at. And then we have people getting these boosts, right? Which is these 30-minute quick sessions. Some people, they see their life's purpose and they leave their job and they move to another part of the world. And
Has that really happened?
Wow.
Many
People do a
many,
90-minute session and then they skip town?
Leave
they
their spouse.
we see everything. It's, everybody's healing journey is totally unique, right? And what a lot of us get taught to do is to look at our success in life through a lens of accomplishment, right? And so if you've accomplished everything, or you're in a stagnant place in your career or in your relationship, and suddenly you get this clarity by seeing yourself more authentically, you may realize that you only got so much time left. So why waste it doing something that you don't love? And so in that sense, we do have people who, much like a powerful psychedelic experience, will completely change their lives after that. And so there's a trust and a community that has gotten built by us all pursuing this and going through these types of experiences. So short answer, there is a lot of people who come back pretty frequently, and then there's others who really take this as, a big stepping stone to a new part of their life.
That's pretty crazy. And so how many people have done one of these sessions?
I know we've probably served close to 4,000 people since we opened. This technology has been around for almost 30 years, right? So lots of folks have dabbled with it. We're the ones that are really making it something that is for the general public, and something that will hopefully be covered by insurance and FSA and HSA and all these things to just lower the barrier of entry so anybody can do this.
And so then, obviously, because of the remarkable nature of what you're doing, also you're working with veterans, you're working with firefighters, you're also in Santa Monica. It's a posh part of town in some ways, and you had this write up. So people want to write about it and talk about it. But besides that, how are you attracting people? How are you getting people to inquire? And then what's the, I guess, sales process like for you guys?
Yeah, it's like I said, the initial barrier of entry was very high for us. Right? People are like, "You're gonna strobe lights at me and shake me up, and that's gonna heal me." Like,
Right. It's kind of
tell
hard to
me more.
explain. So that's, yeah, like how
Yeah.
do you market and explain this to someone in like a phone call?
Yeah, it's it's definitely a learned skill, but we've built SOPs around that, and it's basically a nervous system reset. You experience trauma and all these stressors through your senses, right? And when that gets out of whack, out of alignment, that's when you start experiencing disease and, all types of health, mental and physical issues, right? So we use those same senses that are used to perceive the world around you, like your eyes, your ears, your feelings, and we use that to bring you back into alignment. Sort of, like I said, tune your human instrument, reset the nervous system. So those are like the key phrases that we've found to be successful. People know their nervous system and their stress is sort of the underlying factor of a lot of issues that they're having. So we say, hey, we're going to help you reset that nervous system, lower your stress and pain, and improve your sleep and your ability to function and focus. So what we're introducing now is more specific digital supplements, in a sense, where you can say, hey, I want to focus, I want to sleep, I want to relax, I want to have these outcomes, because that's basically how people shop, right? They don't know that they need a spiritual awakening, but that might happen as a side effect. And so when you're talking to a Navy SEAL, maybe they don't want to talk about, you know, seeing things again. They don't want to talk about going into the deep depths of their trauma because that challenges this armor that we've put on, right? And so what we do is we say, hey, we're going to help you get to wherever you need to go safely, and then you take yourself the rest of the way. But to be honest, the biggest thing that helps us is our referrals, right? We don't do a lot of advertising. Our referrals and our reviews and micro influencers or people who have some sort of following or expertise, like Jamie, for example, and be like, hey, this really helped me. And then people are like, well, if that helped this person, maybe I should try it.
I can't imagine you're running like a Facebook ad for something like this. I imagine that's the referral part that you're talking about in the results. But
You could, though. This would make a
we
great
do
ad.
actually.
It's very
Yeah,
visually
we do.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would stop the scroll. Like you saw that, it's just like you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
No, I just meant, yes, visually, yes. I meant like in terms of an offer. Like it's not what we're used to on the gym side.
Right.
But yes, for sure, it's definitely
Change your life for the price of a massage. You don't think that
guess
hits
that's
with
true.
the Santa Monica crowd?
I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
So then the challenge has been like I lived in Georgia for a while, right? Where in some ways they think like yoga is sinful, right? So there is this gap that we're trying to cross of making people understand that, hey, this is a technological way of managing your stress and improving your health. So different strokes for different folks. We have various narratives when it comes to digital marketing that appeal to certain demographics. Some people want to see the flash. Some people just want results. Some people, especially the older crowd, they want somebody to hold their hand, right? So there is a lot of trial and error that's gone into this, but we do have success with these sort of micro influencers or niche people talking about their experience, what happened to them. And then, to your point, John, like these sort of key unique selling propositions where you're like, hey, reset your nervous system for the price of a massage or change your life or whatever it might be. And so we've done so much trial and error to figure out what works and doesn't work, because we want to scale this as much as possible, but we don't want to give somebody a roadmap that doesn't have key points like marketing figured out. Otherwise, it's a risky proposition for all of us.
So is the idea, you're 3 years in location one, is the idea to one day franchise this, or do you want to be corporate owned? You mentioned Jamie Weeks. He's obviously a heavy hitter in the franchising world. What's the plan here?
Yeah, we're exploring those options of partnering with individuals like that can provide the infrastructure necessary and the marketing that's needed in order to expand at scale. What we didn't want to do, like I said, was just jump into early. After that LA Times article came out, after some of our news, we just got a huge influx of franchise inquiries. And we wanted to protect the brand and make sure that the service doesn't get compromised, because it's very easy to do that when you have people that don't know, they don't necessarily care as much. And we have hundreds of 5-star reviews. We want to maintain this reputation as something that works and is trusted. That's why we have relationships with government and getting grants even as a for-profit entity. So we are now in discussions to grow at scale and testing these various markets that may not be as open-minded as Santa Monica, right? And see what happens there so we can really establish that, hey, this model works. This is turnkey. This is going to de-risk it for anybody who's trying to come in and become a franchisee or partner with us to open corporate stores, and feel confident in that we can support as a community and we can all grow together.
So is it profitable now?
It is profitable through our variety of public-private partnerships, as well as our retail side. So that's, something that we're really proud of. And we've taken a very, very untraditional route, right? So we've most gym owners aren't going to be working with the health departments, right? Or the county. Maybe some that get very creative, but that's been our route, especially because of the community that we serve, being the veterans and firefighters, especially after these fires happen in LA. Like, that's become a big thing for us. And so building that has de-risked it a lot for us, right? So we can focus on what it is that we can do to make a better service that's more scalable and more profitable for those who are partnered with us.
Yeah, because you talk to these franchise guys and it's like, it's a math problem to them. It's like, it costs this much to build, how long until, we can break even, how long until we're profitable, and then you can kind of work backwards, and then all of a sudden we have 1,000 locations. I think the question mark for something like this would be exactly what you're saying. It's like, okay, you probably ramp one of these up in San Francisco, LA, Miami pretty quickly, but like when you're in Kansas City, how do you explain this to someone and get them to try it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put them down on one of those tables and let it speak for itself. So our biggest really advertising tactic for in the beginning was to just provide sessions to those who needed them, right? And document that, get them to provide reviews, tell their communities, going in through like different community influencers in these various segments, and letting them tell the story. And that is something that I think is universal, but so is mental health at this point, especially post-COVID. People are starting to understand really the importance and destigmatize that. Like, as men, we're like, oh no, I'm tough, I don't have any problems. And that's just, that's just not a good way to sustain your well-being. And I think that's becoming more well understood and accepted amongst all different types of demographics. So we try not to like politicize it or create any type of limitation to who should be doing this. It's a tool, right? It's a tool in the arsenal of well-being, just like you have mental health therapy or physical health in gyms. You need something that combines those two things in an experience where you can just receive for a change. You don't have to go out and do all these things. You can just lie down and see where you go. And there's plenty of neuroscience to back it. But again, it's an experiential thing, immersive meditations for people who can't really get there.
Yeah. Are there any, is there anyone else in LA doing this, or in, maybe New York or San Francisco? Like, do you have competitors? Are there other people trying this out?
Absolutely. I mean, there's people that are trying out the technology, but again, without a model of scalability, right? Through the software and standards, creating standardization across the industry, it's going to be very difficult. And so there's a lot of people who come and go, and it has been for many years. That's why it became so obvious. Hey, if we want this to grow, if we want this to be something that is ubiquitous, then we better make it easy for the operators, right? And starting with ourselves, but the software should let this hardware operate and provide you with information that you can use to make better decisions for your clients, allow them to understand why they should keep coming back, and share that information with other locations, because you get a lot of people who are visiting, right, from out of town, and they see us and they're like, oh, I need to try that. And then they go back to Kansas City or Ireland or wherever they're coming from. And then it's just a one and done. That can only help so much. So our strategy is to really make this something that has, becomes an industry standard, and that will allow for that scale to happen. It couldn't happen the other way around, because it just would have been a mess.
So when you get these like major media posts, like from the LA Times or Forbes or something like that, what does that do to your business? Does it just like break it? Do you just like not have a table? Like I'd imagine it's tough on like a single brick and mortar location.
Yeah. LA Times got us close to that point, right? It was beautiful, but we booked 100 sessions in the first week, right? So that early on in our existence there was a lot. And I mean, my team handled it flawlessly, so we had like probably hundreds of sessions booked after that article. Still do. People are still reading that article and still contacting us about it. Obviously Forbes and all of these other things, they add fuel to the fire. Local news, the thing is, a lot of the people who write about this, they're our customers. Celebrities come in, they're doing it for themselves, not for us. And so that is really what powers what we're doing, is this sort of third party validation and awareness. And this was a really good motivation for us to get all of our SOPs together and make sure that we had a good system in place, because that was a very intense time as a young business, was to handle this syndicated nationally. So people were calling us from all over the world, not just to come attend, but to talk about it, but also to franchise. And this was not an industry that we have a lot of experience in prior to this. Our co-founders opened up a few different locations over the years, but nothing like at this prominence and scale. This was one of those things where my parents were like, "Oh, okay, this is real. This is legitimate. The boys are in the newspaper." And so to that point, a lot of folks who read the newspaper still became clients, right? Whereas, achieving that sort of digital awareness is much more saturated, like you were saying before. So it's been a very organic process of trial and error, and I'm happy to say that we have some of the kinks figured out for sure.
The model's kind of like reminiscent of, it's probably not totally the same. It reminds me of like an escape room. I feel like, like the business model, you have a setup. The experience is kind of your own journey in there, but you have someone on a mic guiding you and helping you out if you need some help. And you do kind of go from room to room, monitoring how people are doing in their journey. It kind of reminds me of that, if I'm thinking about it, It's interesting.
Yeah, and escape from your mundane reality room, right?
Yeah. And you're going one time, you have a good time, you bring your friends, there's a group element to it. I don't know. It's kind of reminds me of that a little bit. You got your equipment in there, it's set up, there's rules around how to use it. And then you give them some help on the mic if they need some help. Otherwise they're on their own journey,
Yeah, I think psychologically, that exploration is definitely, it has those elements of creativity. I'd say from like a business model, it's more of like a contrast therapy studio where you have certain equipment. Once you know how to use it, you can just use it. Or float tanks are sort of like a very similar experience where,
yeah, for sure.
like, okay, I'm being confronted by silence and I need to use my tools like my mind and my breath to calm myself and get the most out of this. Right. So I would say from a, sort of a similarity standpoint, the creativity of an escape room, sort of the mystery of our facility is sort of like an immersive experience in itself. If you look inside, it's like a digital speakeasy. So people come in, they're like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And from that point, we have you in a narrative and in a conversation that makes it easier to guide you into, hey, this is something profound might happen.
How did you guys design the space? Like, was that was that all you guys? Did you have some, Zen expert help you on this? Like, how did you come up with that stuff?
Yeah, we designed it ourselves. We have backgrounds in sort of staging by being in entertainment and creating immersive experiences over the years. And so what we wanted was something that just feels calming. The energy in there, people will always say like, wow, I just immediately feel calm coming off the streets of Santa Monica, which can be a little bit intense. And it's, we've got a massive projection wall that is playing, different visuals that sort of get your brain, get you ready, get you into that state of awe. So we wanted to hit that wow factor. So when you come in, you're just like, whoa, I did not expect this. Something impactful is about to happen. And I trust these people to be able to facilitate that, because you just blew my mind from the first moment I walked in. And so it's been a very, very organic process. So we've been sort of we add things like every single day, like, oh, okay, well, let's add a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And as we have become more financially stable, that allows us to really focus in on the experience around, what people are going to see when they walk in, because that's highly important. When it comes to franchising and scaling, we have a little bit of more of a bespoke strategy model, right? Like, hey, this is what you buy. This is how you, this is expected costs, right? How to turn a boring space into a mystical wellness center, right? So there's a little bit of a roadmap there. But the first one is always different than everything else.
And so if a gym owner wants to learn more about sensory therapy, you said you learned all about this. Like, how do they educate themselves on what's going on here? I wouldn't even know where to go or how to start.
Yeah, we're actually about to put out some educational courses that will go along with some of our new our new software, right? We call it our digital supplements, right? So whether you're looking for mental clarity or you're looking for grounding or relaxation, any number of these outcomes, we use this voice biometric system to ask you a couple questions about that topic. Basically, how are you feeling right now, and how do you want to feel? The difference between those two statements in your voice provides a lot of information that we can use to create biofeedback. So like, okay, cool. You want to feel like this is your happy place? All right, we're going to amplify that for you right now. So let you tune your own nervous system from the comfort of your own home on a website. And then that gives us longitudinal data over time, like, okay, this is where this person is, where they want to be. How do we keep them getting closer? So through that process, we're educating on the science and how the art and different components of reality are all stitched together. How vibration is universal throughout all these different things. Sort of like synesthesia, where some people can see the colors of sound. We're helping people make that connection in their brain. And so for a gym owner, for somebody who wants to franchise, all they have to do is understand those connections. And then the rest becomes easy because it's operated by the software. But we have a lot of, educational resources. We're always talking about this stuff. We've been in a little bit of stealth mode for a while, but now we're starting to come out and provide a lot more transparent education and operational tools for anybody who's interested in this, whether it's clients or future partners.
So where do people go if they want more information, if they want to be the first to know when franchising is available, if and when? How do we give our listeners the heads up?
Yeah, that'll be announced on our website, realitymgmt.com. It's just sort of a play on the idea of managing your reality, right? Like that is why we are doing what we're doing. So the facility is called Reality Center, and the website is realitymanagement.com. And we'll be making announcements of all of our new products there. So join our mailing list and follow us on social media. Instagram specifically is really where we spend a lot of time, and it's Reality Center. And we're excited to, start this next phase of growth.
Well, we appreciate that. And Matteo, where do people go if they want to find us?
Go to usekilo.com. You can get yourself some tools, some technology, some software. We have it as well. We also have those things. If you want to standardize your operations and make things easier on yourself and automate some things when it comes to marketing, sales, gym management software, booking sessions, reserving your massage table and your strobe lights, and charging people for that, give us a look over at usekilo.com. Book yourselves a call, learn all about it.
If your current gym management software feels like you're taking a psychedelic trip without drugs, you can come over to ours where it's very simple and straightforward to use. And the buttons, they're wavy, they don't move.
Or if you want to be taken on a journey of self-discovery, come to Use Kilo. We also have that as well.
We have drugs.
I think you'll find a new level of peace and higher consciousness once you use our tools and realize how less stressful your life is. So you can get taken there as well. You know what I'm saying? That nirvana.
Understood.
The nirvana of back end management software. I like that.
And profit.
Everyone
making money.
There's peace and profit. All right.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, finding guys like Tarun, tough. He's doing innovative stuff. He's changing people's lives. He's got this cool concept. Maybe in a year or two, it's going to be blown up. He's going to be a big fancy guy. You heard it here first. So if you like hearing what's going on the edge of fitness and wellness, subscribe and pass this on to a gym owner in need, because these cool people, they're hard to book, they're hard to get on, and we ask them the hard questions. So thanks for making the time, Tarun. We'll be following from the sideline for sure. And Mateo's family is pretty close to Santa Monica, so maybe he'll go in and
the east side, so quite possibly the opposite side of town. But yes, I can definitely make the drive over next time I'm around.